do you see a change in the inclination towards product development? Because the last few years have been, the product innovations have come from startups, not from the IT czars. So do you see a change?
No, it's a great question. It's not necessarily directly related, but since a lot of IT type people, it might be worth saying. It's very difficult, I found, for a tiger to change its stripes. If you're one kind of animal, and you're looking enviously at that one, it's very difficult, even if you want to be a deer, to be a deer. Although if you're a tiger, you wouldn't want to be a deer. But, so what I find in all these IT services companies is there are two problems. One is they're too profitable. There's too much cash coming out of the existing business model, okay? And unless there's a real crisis, people don't change. So this idea that I want to develop my own IP, develop products and all remains out there, okay? There is no life-changing event that forces you to do that, because this is okay. And while you know one day this game is going to change, you see at least a few quarters of, it's okay. So that's one thing. The second thing is, as I said, it is fundamentally different business. It takes fundamentally different mindset. It takes fundamentally different skills. I was meeting with my friend Sanjay. He and his brother have started one of the few successful product companies from India, which is Quick Heal. Okay? And it's a different game. Okay? And we don't have many of the skills in India. For instance, product management. Every product business says, my God, where do I find product managers? And so I don't think the big guys or the established firms are going to mutate into product companies ever. I think you will find a new breed of startups that start up in life as product companies, and many will go on to be successful. As always, it takes one big success to mobilize the next 1,000. Okay? It takes one Infosys to hit the big time, and then everybody knows this is possible, copy it, etc. So we need one or two really big global scale successes, and I think it will start happening quite well. And I feel it's in the next 5 years. I don't know, I could be wrong.
Yes, please.
Ravi, at the outset, outstanding sharing of experience, and some of which personally I identify with. But the question is about, there is a lot of talk on Indian demographic dividend. And there are two contradictory sides. One is about numbers and other is about
Quality.
Employability or quality. So I didn't see much of it in what you said today. So would you like to share your thoughts? Thank you.
It's a complex question, and I hate the word demographic dividend because we've used it so many times it's become almost nauseating. Okay? So just because we have 1.2 billion people, half of whom are below the age of 25, prosperity is guaranteed. No. That says you have potential. Now you have to do a lot of work, which we all understand, to educate them, to create jobs and so forth. And we seem to have done a rather poor job of dealing with it so far. And in fact, the thing that I worry most is, have we ended up in the last regime creating a welfare state, okay, where people are looking for more handouts and entitlements, and they're unwilling to work. So for instance, my wife works for a Japanese company that's the largest seller of industrial robots. And the demand in India is exploding. Every factory wants to buy robots rather than hire people, which is because they can't find labor. Go speak to Anand Mahindra. Why are people buying tractors? Because they can't find farm labor, okay, which is very strange. I'm not even talking about highly skilled people. I'm talking just the most basic things, assembly tasks and so forth. We've got large numbers of people, but somehow they don't want to work. And of course, you've got quality issues when you talk about more knowledge-based work and skilled work. So I think we should stop talking about these kinds of things and get to work. And the get to work is education reform. It's about training. It's all kinds of things which I'm not expert to talk about. But I'm really concerned because, as you know, it doesn't take much for this demographic dividend to turn into a real nightmare, right? Because you've got young people without hope. They tend to turn violent and anarchic. So far, I think our culture has kept that a little bit under wraps. But how long do we count on culture? Because I find that the young people are fundamentally different breed. And good, I think that's good. But I'm not an expert.
Actually, I had bought this book on 29th of June 2013, and just after a few days of publications. And I read this book within 2 days. Within 2 days I completed, and I had written one email to Ravi Venkatesan of that matter. And I got a reply from him also. What basically, I don't have a question. Actually, what I wanted to highlight, way back, there was a gentleman, 22 years, and there was a gentleman of 32 years, one employee and one managing director. First time that gentleman has seen that managing director. At that time in his company, there was a trust word. I think Ravi can identify those words. And those times, for the leadership, the trust word, first time I heard in my career. That is the trust. And in those trust, while leaving the company premises, nobody was checked his whole, no frisking was done. And most of the company they do it. In that year back, the AC plant was put in a junction port, which was 50 degrees centigrade temperature port. And that is, I think, that is thought about some humanity thinking about. And that time, I was part of that meeting when Ravi Venkatesan left Tata Cummins, and he was going for joining Microsoft. And in that meeting, did an plant manager, Mr. Vikesh, was said that Ravi is leaving us for some more money. And that time, Ravi replied that having 20K something in my bank account or 23K, it does not make a difference. I had a vision. I want to serve the company. I want going to work for a company.
Boss, you're embarrassing me and it's not a question.
It's okay, guys.
So,
We won't need a vote of thanks at the end.
This is the 3 points, and that was the reason what Ravi has said. And I found each and everything in this. And that 22 years boy was me, and 22 years MD was me.
And your name is?
My name is Prabhu Raut.
Prabhu Raut.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yes, please, over there.
Hi, my name is Kaustuv, and there are two things in your speech that I want to highlight and I would like to connect them. The first is that when you said that throughout history there have been phases where the elite have come up and they have transformed. So one of the greatest examples of that is Japan. Like within 40 years they completely transformed it from a laggard to what it is today, even today. And the second is, you said that there's entrepreneurial spirit in India. Now, what can the elites do to encourage the entrepreneurs today? Because I know there are forums available, but I sincerely believe that a lot more can probably be done. So what is your take on that?
Thank you. Thank
It's a
you.
great question, but I don't necessarily have a great take on it other than, I don't think we can prescribe what elite should do. Each elite should follow their own conscious calling and, figure out what's the best use of their skills. But I think you're seeing in the entrepreneurial space a great significant growth in the number of angel investors. You're seeing, many successful entrepreneurs who are willing to mentor younger people. You're seeing more venture investment beginning to flow. So I you have networks forming, Indian Angel Network, etc., etc. So I think it's a process of maturing, and I'm generally encouraged by the progress in the Indian entrepreneurial ecosystems are making. Now, could we do more? Probably, but overall, on its own, it's doing fine. I go to certain countries and they're trying to replicate Silicon Valley. The probability of failure is 100%. Okay? Why? Because these things arise organically. Okay? You have a great university or multiple great universities. That means talent is coming out. Some of them are inventive. Then you have a few entrepreneurs and they've succeeded. So now there's money. They're willing to invest in new entrepreneurs. There are role models. Some people have failed. They realize it's not the end of the world. So failure is not a shame. So they're willing to try. So this ecosystem, it's like gardening. It's not like building a house. It's like growing a nice, beautiful garden or a farm. And so if the government of a country tries to do it, or you try to drive these things top down, they seldom succeed. Okay? You have to create conditions and then hope and pray that something good grows. And that's what I think we should do, and I think Pune has a great chance at that.